Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 1. A blast from the past and the present. Now, their names, apparently it is tradition for anything but a top-tier professional match.
Your attention.
Thank you. To just have names that are completely different from what your actual name is, but if the great people on Team Liquid are to be trusted, this is from a show match between two top-tier StarCraft 1 professionals. You may recognize the only random professional player currently in StarCraft anything. It's Flash. Also known as ODFK, also known as I just passed out on my keyboard, and that I decided would be my account name today. And as much, Jimmy, as I love... Okay, as much as I love the Brood War soundtrack, just for 1 second, calm down. And in the bottom right, he's not Hero. He is Zero. That's the best we could come up with. The Zerg player. Well accomplished, because I recognize his name. I know he's done some StarCraft 1 related things. I bet he's won a bunch of stuff that I can't quote right now. I'm going to embarrass myself. We're going to look it up. Well, he has won $122,000. His alternate ID was Queen. So he's currently in the Moo clan. So just take that information and go wherever you will with it. And then also in the lobby is the original observer of this game, because that's how observing works in StarCraft 1. Don't question it. Hopefully they don't build anything. I don't think they can. We are on Electric Circuit. I assume this was before the circuits were broken. It's a 4-player map, which means scouting in multiple angles is kind of required until the Overlord shows up and Flash sees, well, at least I know where he is. A bunker already. That's not a bunker. That's a supply depot. Can you turn the camera? No, but you can zoom out a lot. And you might be like, wait a second, Winter. That's not what Brood War looks like. That's what Brood War looks like. Well, the beautiful, sleek, stylish Carbot mod that dozens of pro gamers with 5 to 10 times as much APM as you could ever hope to have in your wildest dreams will tell you it's not as competitive as the pixel-perfect old Brood War graphics that I could play on a CRT that weighs more than half of me. But, well, when it comes to StarCraft Remastered, from what I understand, a lot of the pros still play on 4:3 aspect ratio, because 1, they did it for more time than they didn't, and 2, I've heard the rationale of, I don't have to move my mouse as much in order to actually do things, which kind of sounds like bullshit, but I don't know enough, or I'm not nearly enough of an expert on Brood War. I mean, if you've been doing something for 15 years, you're probably not going to be interested in changing it all up now, especially when you still have plenty of options. Alright, Zerglings nibbling on an SCV Zergling speed. If we look in the... Wait. Zergling. Thank you, Production Tab. Production Tab, a fresh new addition. Really narrowing it down. Zergling speed not in production yet. Looks like just enough gas now from 0. I'm still, it's... Come on. Really? That's 5%? Who makes these decisions? Okay, well. Zergling's chasing down the SCV. I don't think they have speed, because the SCV more than likely would have died by now, but they look like they're going pretty fast. The SCV on the chase. The Zerglings are trying to intercept. They chased them to the other side of the map. The SCV. Flash not slacking on it. He's led most of the Zergling. Oh, one Zergling will chase. The SCV just refuses to die. So, eventually... Wait, come on. Zergling, you got this. Believe in yourself. You can do it. More Zerglings coming back. Flash's SCV Just, yeah, Zergling speed, that's definite. Faster Zergling speed. Thank you, Carbot. That definitely is Zergling speed. So that means the SCV might actually be killed. Oh, gets a nibble. He's chasing him down. Gets another nibble, but Flash jukes. He's looking for it, but finally, with more than, well, about twice the speed, is able to chase down the SCV. Quite a wall here. You can't lower your depots in Brood War because that's advanced technology that hasn't been invented yet. But you can build them in such a way they create choke points that the Zerglings are going to have a tough time slipping through. So far, oh, a scan? A scan sees... I think he scanned the main. I'm not sure. I think, can I click on vision? I think I can click on... let's not get crazy. He scanned something, but there's a Spire on the way. These builds, there hasn't been a balance patch to Brood War since before Raynor was born. So, the meta has shifted somewhat over the years, from my understanding, but most of the time, you build up your Marines and Medics early on. Eventually, you transition towards a mech-based composition later in the game, but after putting on some pressure, that might be just the comsats finishing. No, he's definitely scanning. I'm not entirely sure if he's seen the Spire yet, but he can expect it based on the lack of aggression so far. Mutas into Lurkers, expanding to the corners. There's not nearly the mobility you have in Starcraft 2 to get behind mineral lines, through walls, over things, warp in, burrow in, what the hell ever. No, you gotta work your way there. A few units at a time. The Zerglings nibble and crunch through a couple Marines that got a little ahead of themselves. Meanwhile, the medics are out in front, just going to try to buffer, and I want that music. Oh, the bunker finishes just in time. Does Flash have enough turrets in the main? Valkyries! 2 Valkyries out. The liberators of the Dark Ages. Wait, okay, that's the best I could come up with. They're doing damage. I'm not sure if it's just the animation or if it doesn't always hit everything, but the mutas are able to micro and kill off one of these medics. Coming in, the Marines I don't think they have their range yet. Yeah, range upgrade is on the way right now. Flash moving his way down, using the Valkyries to help zone out the Mutalisks. Getting some, oh wow, okay. So, some good splash damage across the mutas, and it's going to take them quite a while to heal. But Scourge! Scourge! Here come the mutas! It's unclear. The Valkyries try to microwave from the Scourge. The Marines targeting down. Ah! Jimmy! Keep control of the situation and give me that Terran music. Okay, now I want the music. Turn it up. All the Brood War music, just objectively the best. Compared to what? Yes. We all know that. Meanwhile, well, Flash is making his way to the bottom left. Zero has opted to focus his mutas. He snaps up. Will he get the Valkyrie? The Valkyrie trying to turn. The Valkyrie not taking enough hits. SCVs will repair. More reinforcements taken out. There's almost nothing to defend in the bottom left. No Nidus here and no units means that this base should go down, but Zero has picked up a few more. He doesn't nearly need the drones. He's got 40 drones to 40 SCVs. Muta's microing towards the front. Still a couple Scourge to make the Valkyrie's lives difficult. Targeting down SCVs. Is there a Hydralisk den yet? Hydra's on the way. Lurkers being evolved. Remember when you had to just build Lurkers out of the, well, Lurker den out of the Hydra den? Yeah, for 20 years and counting. But Lurkers, of course, are going to force out things like tanks. Oh, wow, I'm not sure who's winning the fight, but it appears both players respect the units that have been built. That Overlord needs to go. The Valkyries. I gotta take a chunk out of it, ideally. Carapace is on the way. Meanwhile, the Mutas snapping up what they can. The Marines struggling to find an opportunity to actually gun down any Mutalists. Here come the Valkyries, but the Scourge turn around, take out one. Force the micro back. The Marines target down the Scourge. Overlord just kind of hanging out. Will not be hanging out any longer. Meanwhile, more Marines making their way forward, ambling out of the racks. And Flash still building Valkyries as an anti-muta tool. Haven't seen much of Valkyries. Haven't seen much of Brood War. I'll be honest. I watched some ASL, but haven't seen much Valkyrie usage, even against mutas. It seems to be doing enough to keep Flash going. You don't mine out nearly as quick as SC2 as I've found in my few games on the ladder. You can go off of 2 bases for an uncomfortable amount of time if you're used to Legacy of the Void. Zero has plenty of Scourge. group of mutas. Couple control groups here. No, go back! The Scourge looking to zone out some more. There's a base in the top left. I'm not sure if Flash has scouted it, but it's mining. There's a creep colony on the way. There are lurkers here, so going to be difficult to dislodge. A sunken should be next on the agenda. Vultures being produced by Flash as he slowly works his way into a more mech-based composition. Third Command Center is on the high ground pocket base here. Lurkers gonna burrow just in time, right before Flash shows up to the party. One Marine gonna scout it in the most painful way possible. Oh, is he really Flash? 3 Lurkers? Can you fight that? I mean, oh, wait. Oh, he didn't target fire. Oh, he got distracted by the OV. Oh, so many extra Marines, even Flash with a little miss micro there. That can't have been intentional. Misclicked onto the Overlord, lost targeting, and suddenly these Marines are boxed in. He thought he could break through, but he's about to get shredded. Oh my god. Wow, that was painful to watch. Hydra's on the way. Zero seems to have carved out a comfortable position for himself. In Brood War, having a higher supply than a Terran or Protoss' Zerg is always a pretty comfortable position. The upgrades are good. There's a solid 3 bases with... Wait, there's no gas at this base. Just mineral bases on the pockets here. Another Carapace, or is that the first Carapace upgrade he's got? Let me click. I guess... Oh, upgrades take approximately, if I remember correctly, fucking forever in Brood War. Some bio stuck out here. The barracks is floating out, indicating more of a transition into mech for sure. You know what's even more of an indicator is building 4 factories at a time. That's a pretty bold call, I know, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, even though I'm an amateur, that may indicate some mech play coming up here. Some spider mines down. Now the spider mines and the lurkers gonna stare each other down. Metaphorically, they can't see each other underground unless one of them gets detection. The lurkers, of course, outrange the spider mines, but vultures, quite nimble units. Lurkers chasing back. Couple control groups of Marines. Vultures trying to cut off the lurkers and carve a path for the rest of whatever's left over of the bio army. Is he going to go lurkers against... Well, I mean, vultures against lurkers? The answer is no. Some more scans. A couple barracks out there. The NG Bay. Back. Remember when it could fly? So could Queens. I hope we see him. What is that? Consume? Defilers. Ah! Very uncomfortable Defiler mound. The, Viper's grandfathers. The ability to cast Dark Swarm, reducing the range of all units, or essentially preventing range damage, protecting the lurkers. Spider Mine's still an option. Oh, good hit so far. I'm not sure if that was just a Spider Mine connecting or target fire, but more lurkers moving up. Does Flash have a scan? I would assume so. The Spider Mines are burrowing. He looks for an opportunity, drives in towards, I'm going to call it the 4th. All these drones are now vulnerable. How does Zero deal with this? There's a spider mine field in between him and defending this base. The vultures are cleaning up the drones. The Marines are expendable anyways. Don't tell them that. The Marines are there. I mean, the medics are there out of a sense of duty, not a sense of, I have a long-term survival. Oh my god. The little angry banana consuming the unsuspecting Zerglings, but for the greater good. Getting enough energy, I think, for Dark Swarm. Researching Plague! Oh! The Plague gets him to 1 HP, and then emotional and existential dread brings him the rest of the way. Or maybe, like, 1 lurker hit. I believe Defilers start out with Dark Swarm. The Zerglings dragging in the Spider Mines. They don't discriminate, hit everything they connect with. Good splash there. Zero trying to clean up this army. Dark Swarm right on top. Burrows the Lunkers. And with that, should be able to eliminate the last of the bio. But in the top left, the Lurkers are still protecting more expansions for Zero. Flash is kind of cut off an awkward amount. Zero's been relegated to the top left and the bottom right, whereas Flash has most of the center. But how does Flash actually break in? Does he have tank? He's mining from this base. This is a bold move. Are those Guardians? Alright, well, Guardians have arrived. Guardians built from mutas The mutas stayed alive from her. The Valkyries! Holy shit! The Guardians! Oh no! It's a disaster! But wait, the Scourge to save the day. A couple more Scourge. The Valkyrie's just working. There's no anti-air. Where's the Scourge? A basic rule. He kills another one. The scan spot that there's no more Scourge. The Guardians, they might be smiling, but inside they're crying. And now inside they're dead. The Scourges are chasing. Oh, another Valkyrie dies. More Scourge pop out, but the Guardians, well, they were able to push through. The Valkyrie's flash was able to put out there. Oh my god, 1 HP. Ah! What even happened? Was that a Valkyrie? I wasn't... What? Where did the Guardian go? Did he just give up on that idea? No, I think they're... there's so much going on. These players are trying to keep up with so much, and I can't. Let's just be honest here. I cannot. So if we miss something, that's to be expected. All right. Oh, a Dark Swarm drop brings the Lurkers, and the SCVs try to escape. Only some of them will. The command center forced to lift. The ComSat abandoned. More scans. Yes, those are Lurkers. No. Tanks finally have arrived. Any upgrades? +1 weapons is complete. The Lurkers have +2 carapace. While the Dark Swarm, which lasts entirely too long if you ask Terrans. The tanks technically do splash damage, but they do not do single target. That single target devastating. More Dark Swarms! The tanks exposed. Well, Defilers are spread throughout the map right now. Flash is trying to push in, but Zero is holding strongly. A whole lot of Zerglings. So many Vultures and Spider Mines, though. The tank's a bit exposed. The Spider Mine's going to be turned against them. These tanks are down for the count. Flash, a couple control groups of Vulture. I don't know what his plan is here, but finally cleans this up. He's going towards Zero's main. There's an Ultralisk Cavern. Is there a Nidus Canal? I don't believe so. I'm not sure. Wow! Yeah, that's a Nidus. Yeah, that's very, very Nidus. Oh god, that is uncomfortably Nidus. Carbot. Jesus. You see, like, oh my god. Is that? Taking down the destructible Zydisruptor. But there's also mineral fields with 0 minerals. The mineral fields are halluc. Lurkers and Dark Swarm find their way into the northern base. Flash, driven out of position. The tanks will siege. A bit of an awkward scenario. The splash damage might be enough. He doesn't have detection here, though. Where are the scans? Flash is on 3 bases. He's not quite mined out of the main yet. Still a lot of time on that. But Zero has, what, 7 base? That's... I mean, what else does he want? He's down on supply. He's struggling to put enough larvae together here, as that is the real struggle in Brood War. Just having... Oh, the tanks are on the high ground. The Ultras are not. And that's all I have to say about that. The scan, Scourge, spots, and kills the Valkyrie. The Ultras try to close the distance with the tanks. It's tough going. Meanwhile, Lurker's moving forward. Is there Dark Swarm? He's got it. Dunks down the Lurkers. Moves a little forward. Gonna try to dislodge Flash from this base. There's still 1 Lurker underneath here. Flash, desperate to get something done. The splash damage actually able to dislodge the Lurker. A single Zergling. A real threat underneath that Dark Swarm. So Flash has been able to carve out a 4th base, make that a 5th base, as he's pushed out both sides, and he's hidden a command center over here. And by hidden, I mean, I don't know how long it's been there. I don't think it's been mining for particularly long. Yeah, you start with 1,500 minerals. It just started mining. We just caught it. So, where are we now? Zero has a lot of the map, but Flash has a strong position defending his quadrant and is kind of a perimeter defense. He's got the high ground looking down on Zero's main. But of course, Zero has plenty in the top left as well. Here come the Ultras. Dark Swarm allows them to close the distance somewhat. Another Dark Swarm. Defiler targeted down, but it's too late. The Ultras chopping through. Adrenalings on top of the tanks. Ultras, while they might be single target, the single target is quite effective. Dislodges. Oh, eats so many Spider-Mons, giving his life for the cause. The Ultras taken down. Reinforcements coming in from Flash, but reinforcements from Zero as well. The battle continues as the top left streams out Zerglings and Ultras and Defilers, and Flash has Vultures and tanks trying to lay down the Spider-Mons, but the Dark Swarm directly on top of the siege tanks. There's almost no chance of getting rid of this. Flash will probably be losing this northern base. It's going to come down to whether or not Zero... Well, a lot of this will come down to whether or not Zero is able to scout some of these hidden bases more quickly. Is that a command center over here? Flash just building another CC. There's a handful of Zerglings. They haven't actually scouted this. Flash is bringing Vultures to have some cursory defense. Of course, a concerted attack is going to be difficult. But Flash feels like he's pushed back and unable to really get much progress on any key bases, whereas Zero is kind of taking his pick on where to go next. Meanwhile, oh, the Spire, the Greater Spire, taken out. Will it be rebuilt on another side? Missile attacks is on the way. On the high ground are the tanks. With that high ground advantage, he finds the base on the left side. Overlords. Do those have Overlord drop? Also, double Nidus, by the way. Double Nidus to be able to move those units around a little more quickly, usually defensively, not aggressively like in Starcraft 2. Meanwhile, that's the Hive. The Hive is under fire by, well, if the Goliaths could ever get their shit together, they might be able to get a hold of it. Flash has reestablished that northern, and by reestablished I mean he's putting efforts in to retake this base. He lands the command center. The Vulture, very uncomfortable with that, but will survive barely. Oh my god, the Cracklings! The Cracklings are too much! He just chews up the tank! Oh, just barely holds, does Flash. And more tanks are sieged up, cutting this off for now. A scan spots a couple Lurkers with no Defilers to back him up. That's the best he can hope for right now. Flash lost, lost mining at least. The CC itself didn't go down. He's really focusing towards this northern side. Ultra's still on the way. More missile attacks. Let's check the upgrades. Flash is at 2-1. Whereas right now the Ultra... Well, I didn't get much of an opportunity there. The Ultra upgrades are at +5 armor. With that chitinous plating or whatever it's called. And +2 attack with more on the way. A handful of Zerglings to defend. There's no Lurkers back here, but there is a Nidus. I don't know if there's anything in the Nidus currently. There's about to be, though. He brings the reinforcements from the other side of the map. Spider-Mons killing Zerglings and Vultures alike. Another Spider-Mine coming up. That's a nice tank line, but a Dark Swarm going to make things more complicated. He's just building Ultras. He's kind of stopped building Lurkers now. It's just a mass Ultra game out of Zero, which they're not free, but they seem to be getting the job done. These are not the mediocre lists of SC2. They're a legitimate choice here to try to break through the tank line, be essentially immune to Vulture attacks. Well, I don't know if that's true. And eat a whole lot of Spider Mines while being able to utilize the Dark Swarms to kill the tanks. But there's so many tanks at this stage. The Ultra chopping, but the splash damage itself is more than enough. So many Zerglings gonna split as best they can. The Dark Swarm helped me a little. Spider-Mons dragged into the tanks. Is there anything in those OVs? What's going on? The OVs angrily looking upon everything. Mostly Zerg units dying. These OVs, they got Ultras! The Ultra drops! Flash definitely knows something's up. The Ultras are dropped on top of the tanks. We'll see how this goes. It looks like, well, the unsieged tanks are fighting them. It's a bit of an even fight, but the objective was to dislodge the tanks. And they have entirely succeeded at that. So, the tanks being chased back, and that means this base is essentially undefended. Though Flash has, during all of this, established the left side. Neither player has been even close to maxed out, as the battles continue throughout the map. The tanks looking to defend. Zerglings force the SCVs away. The SCV count is 69, nicely done by Flash. 60 for Zero, but Zero has been uninterrupted in most of his mining. Ultras, over on the left side. SCV is not the greatest counter to Ultras. Overlord's very angry about this. A few Goliaths coming in to be able to target down maybe some of those Overlord drops. It's not like Zero can afford to lose too many Obies here. He's got a little bit in the bank, but he doesn't have a ridiculous amount of them. Ultras denying another base left side. 9 o'clock position. Goliath's looking for another opportunity to get damage done. The top left is being focused on, and Flash returns with a vengeance. He's got tanks in position. Where are the Defilers? Where's the Dark Swarm? Where's the rest of the reinforcements? Some more is setting up. Ultra's coming in from the north. Is there anything going to come out of the Nidus? He's putting more units in. The Nidus itself might be targeted down. Ultras pop out. Flank from both sides. That's kind of how flanks work. Thank you. You're welcome. Ultras getting on top. The tanks are already unsieged, though, which means the Zerglings might have an easier time of closing the distance. So far, Zero able to hold on. Neither player able to get a decisive victory in this northern battle. I got rid of the mini-map. Nobody was looking at it anyways. You guys have never seen that before. How do I get... Give me the mini-map back. How do I need that. Are there any Lurkers? Still, curiously, not a single Lurker. He's just kind of stopped building Lurkers. I don't know if that's intentional or if he's just trying a new strat. The Lurkers seem to be doing quite well. The Ultras... It's a lot harder to judge, I guess, because the Ultras usually die, but they're a lot more mobile, obviously. Another Defiler pops out, near max energy. Where's the Plague? Use Plague! Dark Swarm, just such a great ability. It's what Microbial Shroud wishes it could be and was obviously inspired by, but just didn't pan out. Meanwhile, more coming out of the Nidus. Spider Mines doing their best to hit whatever. It's gonna hit vultures, but a lot of the mines being drawn out by a handful of Zerglings. Here comes a whole round more. The battle continues as both players down to 100 supply, despite mining pretty heavily. Zero is expanding underneath Flash's command center at 9 o'clock. While the battle continues in the north, another round of tanks come up. What are the upgrades now? 3-2 against 3-3. Maximum upgrade so far for Zero. Another big siege. This time there's not much to defend. Lurker's popping out. He's gone back into the Lurker tech, or he's dragged him out from somewhere. Where are the Defilers? Where's the Defiler? Without a Defiler, those just die. He needs... Oh, Zerglings pop out. There's not really any... the Overlords, remember, provide detection for Spider Mines. They don't need Overseers or anything like that. Just the Overlords themselves have been doing quite a good job. Zerglings drive it all back on their own. Another round of Spider Mines. Flash is trying to mine, but the Trail of Tears will end as it started, with Zerglings forcing things away into... Wait, where are you going to go? How's he going to save these SCVs? Well, the Vultures, if you could just get the Nidus Canal... there is a Nidus to another one of these bases nearby, but the Nidus has been continually bringing in so many reinforcements. Flash is... Oh, save us! You gotta be careful with the splash damage of the tanks as well. A couple Vultures make it by. There's a few Sunkens here that could shut this down temporarily. Did he find a sweet spot? It appears he did. Zerglings have to come back to defend. Drones will actually die. Tanks move into position, but Dark Swarm, as always, making things difficult. Zero refusing to give up too much. Plague! There's no... I guess you can repair it. It won't kill the tanks, but it will get them about as close as you can get. 1 HP. So just a strong gust of wind or a strongly worded letter thrown particularly hard. He brings the repair out, but the Plague, it doesn't go away easy. So maybe use some stim pack. I don't know if that would be a good idea. Anyways. Ultras pop out, trying to use the Dark Swarm. The Spider Mines, though, do not care. Flash seems to be getting himself into a nice position. Has Zero finally been pushed back, as he's, by the way, mining here? A Nidus? Oh no, Creep Colony, rather. Soon to be, I'd imagine, sunken. Oh, but a drop! A drop! The base that Flash was trying to use as a staging point has been rendered obsolete by a Zergling drop that eliminated all but one very brave or very cowardly SCV. Vulture is trying to save another base. Flash desperately trying to find places to mine everywhere we look. It's getting worse and worse. Oh, another round of tanks, but Dark Swarm! The Defiler doesn't have energy. The tanks, though, the Concave is just a little too good. Things are driven back. And another round. He consumed a couple links. Oh, be careful! I'm sorry. The command center's still scouting this base very effectively. This is mining for what it's worth. And Flash, will he ever push through? Ultras pop out. Another Dark Swarm. Spider Mines do burrow, but most of them aren't able to connect. Is there enough? It's not like he's been really mining from this for a while. The supply's under 100, but within a handful. The worker count's under 50 as well, but it really comes down to who has anywhere to mine from, because even here, bases are mining out. The first, the second, the third, even the fourth base, I think, is starting to dry up now. That's not true. The fourth base, there's so many minerals. But the gas geysers never dry up. They just slow down significantly. I'm not sure how much it is, but it's a lot. Oh, he picks up a Zergling drop. We haven't really seen that on the tanks, but I don't know why. Meanwhile, Zerglings, looking for this base. Command Center bruised. Spider-Mine finds a couple of the links, but the others, a massive threat to the SCVs. Flash is losing most of his mining. He's barely holding on to this base. A 5 Zergling drop, still a real and present danger. A couple Scourge show up to the party. They weren't invited, but they're here anyways. Meanwhile, the ultimate battle! The drone has way more armor upgrades. And it will win the fight and get the, become a hatch. Flash is pushing forward, though he's finally, after how long, 15 minutes or so, dislodged the hatchery. There's still a Nidus up in the top left. A coherent tank push here. A command center looking to mine. The tanks target the Nidus! Or, well, he uses the Nidus as an escape route. And Flash looks like he is gonna be able to mine. As we finally calm down and decide that Flash will get the top of the map and Zero will take the other half. It only took 30 minutes to figure this out. Essentially everything has been dislodged. Flash, well, everybody seems to be slowing down. Flash has been mining over on this right side for a while. The minerals starting to mine out. But not so much so that a handful of Zerglings are not worth getting rid of. So, Zero is down now 20 supply, which is about as significant of a margin as we've seen. It did seem like Flash was winning the cost efficiency war a little bit when trading with the Ultras and the Zerglings. He's now going for what am I what? I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but I'm pretty sure that that's not supposed to be happening. An infested command center, whatever that means. Is that Zero's command center? Plague and a few of these tanks. I don't know. So can Zero? But Flash is pushing. So even though this seems like something you would do to troll someone, I'm pretty sure. I think Flash is in a position where he can almost win the game. So, I mean, there's no Defilers here. Here comes a big push. There's not that much Dark Swarm. Doesn't really cover some of the key locations. The tanks are in a disgustingly effective position up here. Zero, though, is kind of pushing out on the low ground. The reinforcements we cut off, this group of tanks is going to try... Well, they're not sieged. They are on the high ground. There is high ground vision for this handful of Hydras. The Zerglings trying to find their way in, having a real tough time of it. Is there anything in these Ovies? No. They just look very angry. Some tanks trying to get in, but the Lurker will stop them. Flash is dislodging another couple hatcheries. This feels important. This feels like these are not bases that Zero should be losing. He is still about even on supply. He's got Defilers and Zerglings in the Overlord. He's trying to drop them. He's really having a tough time of it here, though. Oh, my. Okay, well, gets the Dark Swarm. Gets a huge Dark Swarm, and now the Zerglings will wreak havoc underneath. But Flash pushing through on the north. It's still under 100 supply on both sides. Another round of Zerglings. Chasing down the tanks one at a time, and by one at a time, I mean all 10 of them. Zero's holding on. So is Flash. I can't tell. I don't know who's winning. Like, I think Flash is winning, but that command center has a heart on it, and that does not seem good for Terran. Ah! I don't know what that means. I don't... But it's there. Oh, that's very sad, Ultra. Zero's down to 73 supply. Is this producing anything? Flash seems to be securing enough mining. Zero is running out of... he's got one mining base. He's building another he's rebuilding these hatcheries. It produces baneling units for the Zerg, but how did it happen? Oh, he's morphing! Infested! Infested Terran, right? Infested Terran! I've seen the Carbot animation about this. What's about to happen? Please don't be underwhelming! Oh, it pops out! Ah! Okay, so it's pretty explosive. So it's like a super bane. And he just lifts off. So he killed half a dozen SCVs with that or so. Wasn't bad. Apparently it needs a queen to do... Ah! There she is. She's been waiting for her moment. I think there might be another queen over on this side somewhere. I don't know if it's the same one. Flash is struggling. Is he, though? He's up 40 supply, building 5 tanks at a time. That's not what struggling usually looks like, I don't think. Land it and build more infested Terrans! Oh, did he just out micro spider mines with an overlord? Okay, well, that happened. I'm sorry. I slowed the game down a minute ago and I couldn't figure out. Like, it took me 30 seconds to realize, yeah, somebody slowed the game down. And I'm not sure who. It was me. So Flash is up 30 supply. There's a Dark Swarm here. The Infested Command Center drawing a lot of the Goliath shots. Not that's, I think, a huge deal here. The Dark Swarm, ridiculously cost-effective there. The Infested Command Center doing quite well at existing. I don't know why I keep saying doing quite well. It's just dying. Ah, Queen! So what? Zero's down 20 supply. He has queens, but how do you... He's really hurting for mining here. Flash doesn't have an unbreakable position, it doesn't seem. There's not even any spotter mines here. So a couple Dark Swarms could be massive. Where are the Dark Swarms? Where are the Dark Swarms? Without the Dark Swarms... Uh-huh. Flash is mining from so many bases. This is the last mining for Zero. Like, he's gonna be at 0 mining, if you would. If Flash is able to get rid of this. That's a lot of the... Like, there's only 40 drones. Like, 12 of them are here. Well, less now. And here comes the Vulture. Another Nidus. Where are the rest of the units? This is most... What? What happened to the Nidus? I don't know. Why is the Nidus gone? Well, either way. It's gone now. Here come the Zerglings. Getting on top of the tanks. Chewing through. A Defiler shows up to the party. Flash is comfortably mining from all of these places. It feels like we're coming to a conclusion here. As Zero just can't put things together. No matter how many infested command centers, it seems Flash's macro is gonna be too much. Oh, that's Zergling. Oh my god. It's 40 supply now. Defilers don't have an attack. They're just banana boys. Dark Swarm plus 2 Zerglings. Unfortunately, Flash has half a dozen more tanks. He's consuming Zerglings, but what is the... Oh. So, I'm prepared to say we should see GG any second. As Zero, his minerals are not going up very, very quick. And he has way less supply. I don't know, like, it kind of fell apart when Flash was able to run over the top left. Zero was on the back foot from then. I'm not sure if the Ultras were worth it. But Zero taps out. And Flash takes it. It looked tough. It looked like Flash would be contained and eventually run over. But he refused to give up his position. He refused to give up his SCVs. And he refused to be intimidated by infested command centers. He held on. He pushed out. And he finished the match. It does feel like Zero let that one get away from him a little bit. But hopefully you enjoyed some Starcraft cartoon, Starcraft 1, and some, I would say old school, but it's still going on today. But if this ends up on YouTube, because I'm like, well, who knows? Maybe all the Koreans who speak English will like this, or the 4 non-Korean fans. Like and subscribe and ring the bell and all of those exciting things. And tell me, Winter, you have literally no idea what you were talking about. Please stop. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. See you next time.